Show. This is the Big O 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 Show. This.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 16 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take up to $10,000 off a 2024 Acura during our 16th anniversary sale.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
More tables, more entertainment. When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's a new sheriff in town at Toyota of Hollywood. Cash in your chips and get a great deal on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not 24,000, 17,975. Giddy up to the bank and get 2.99% financing on our most popular models. So mosey on down to our western town at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome aboard. Yes, sir. It is Thursday. It is 3 o'clock Eastern. And where are we? We are at beautiful Hialeah Park. And yes, we are in the second floor poker room. And soon I'll be able to communicate with those of you watching live when my Apple updates are done. I go, I'll put in because there's a latest Apple update. So I'm here. I'm updating like 4 different devices, including my iPad. I need a new iPad, by the way. I think I'm gonna have to tell the wife and the daughter, hey, birthday, Christmas coming up. Yeah, these are really already kind of old already. The processors are kind of slow. Kind of need some new ones. Got to upgrade the iPad look on the show. I got to get the bigger iPad for one, and then a new one of these iPads. Now that they've updated it, but I'm in the middle of my iOS update, so I will not know anything going on in the chat board or anything for a couple of more minutes. So we'll do that. Of course, the great Sean Stanley by my side as always. Oh, there we go. At least the phone has updated now. Well, at least one phone has updated now. So we got that going on. Now we're waiting for everything else to kind of reconnect. All right, here we go. All right. Install now. Yes, let's go. All right. Anyway, we got some stuff to talk about today. Obviously on the show, bunch of stuff. Actually, Dolphins got their schedule. We'll talk about that. We'll get into all of those things. Obviously, don't forget we do have a merch shop now. Those of you have been asking over the last couple of years about merchandise. We finally do have merchandise. We have there's the billboard. It's on now. By looking over there, I can tell he's got the billboard on now, and it's got the QR code. And those of you listening on the podcast on audio, it's Big O Radio Show .myshopify.com, so you can check out the latest shirts and hats that we have there. We've added some extra shirts now the last couple of days, and we're working on some other things too at the same time. So, continue to come back to it, because we're going to start adding more and more stuff to it. And we appreciate those of you that already have placed an order. Those of you that are in the first 10 orders, I am going to put a little extra prize in there for you for, being quick on the support. So we really appreciate that. So if you can, it's a great way to support our show and keep us around. You know what I mean? Because really, like I tell you, you don't survive on the views. We don't survive on the views. We survive because of our great sponsors like Hialeah Park, like, Acura Pembroke Pines and Toyota of Hollywood, those Caneswear, that's what keeps us alive. That's what really, so visit our amazing sponsors. That's incredibly important to visit Sloman's Home Shield if you need an alarm. What's it called? Baptist Health, Cutter's Edge Pro. I mean, landscaping. We got hurricane season coming up now. You got to clear up the trees and all that. Call William Quigley and the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro, man. So that's really what keeps us around, is you visiting and supporting our amazing sponsors. That's very, very important, and we really appreciate that out there. Anyway, so got a bunch of things to talk about. Inter and Orlando City yesterday. Got the NBA playoffs rolling on. They continue tonight. Had the games last night. Got Bitcoin, obviously, riding to like 66. Now I think we're in a dip now, back to 65 or 64, something along those lines. So hopefully Bitcoin we'll see if this is a fake pump. Because, you have that when you have your lulls, you have a whole bunch of fake pumps. Now we're over 65. We're at 65,128. So it was over 66 because it went down from 61.6 all the way to 66. It shot up over 7% yesterday. So that was really cool. But the question is this one of those where it's going to go up a little bit, then it's going to come back down again? Or is this the one that starts to catapult? Now, the M2 money supply is going up. So there's some positives out there. Obviously, the CPI reading from yesterday, rigged and all, was a positive. So who knows? We'll see if this pump is fake or if it's real. We will find out, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely will find out in the next day or two, the movement with Bitcoin. And we got some things to talk about too, so we'll mention that. All kinds of stuff going on. Tomorrow, David Furones and Manny Navarro will join us on the program. So we'll have that for you. Tomorrow we're in studio, right? Next week we'll be at Acura of Pembroke Pines, hanging out there, so you can join us also. And June 16th, we'll be at Caneswear. Okay. So June 9th, which is the Wednesday before that, we will be at Toyota of Hollywood. Okay. Right? Yeah. And isn't Toyota of Hollywood the second Wednesday of the month? That's the 9th. Oh, June 12th. I'm sorry. June 12th is the second Wednesday of the month. We'll be there. June 19th, we'll be at Caneswear. So those 2 Wednesdays, the 12th and the 19th, Toyota of Hollywood and Caneswear on the 19th. So just in case, for those of you that sometimes you come by to visit us and you can plan. What's that? Oh, yes. The next 2 Fridays we're in studio. Yes. That's right. Yeah. Oh, there's 5 Fridays this month. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds very good. I like it. All right. Everything. Oh, we're getting the updates now. I like it. We're in the clear now. I can actually pull up the Twitter now, and hopefully soon on the other one, I'll be able to pull up the YouTube page and then have the chat board up and be able to chat with you all out there. At least I can actually keep up with stuff here on Twitter if there's anything going on, which is very important that we do that. All right. Let's see. What else do we have going on? We got a bunch of things to talk about. Obviously, let's get into, first of all, the Dolphin schedule, because I think that's the thing that a lot of people are going to talk about. Now, I am going to disappoint you on one thing. Oh, we got the update here finally. I'm going to disappoint you on one thing that I'm not going to talk about because it's absolute silliness. Look, the Dolphins are going to the playoffs. And if they're healthy at the end of the year, like they haven't been the last 2 years, and McDaniel grows up a little bit, I also think you got a great shot at going deep into the playoffs and maybe even the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to play this the schedule game. That's the stupidest shit there is in the world. Okay, the schedule game is the dumbest shit in the world because none of us can predict. So how good did they think the Chargers were going to be last year? Right? Everybody, they all love Justin Herbert and everything, right? Didn't they go 5-12? So do you think the Rams were going to be 10-7 last year? Not really. They were better than what you thought. Did you think they picked the Bengals to go 9-8? No, right? Did they pick Cleveland with Joe Flacco joining them in the preseason to go 11-6? Did people say, hey, things aren't going to go well with Watson and all that? They're going to pick up Flacco in the middle of the season, and they're going to end up 11-5 in the playoffs. Anybody say that? No. Nobody said that. Texans. Anybody pick the rookie quarterback? And well, they didn't even did they even start the rookie quarterback? They did, right? They did. You sure? Was he a starter right from the get-go? Okay, because I would figure that they would throw the guy that's been there for a couple years. What's his name now? I'm forgetting. He's kind of mediocre, but some of you thought he was better than Tua. I remember that. Maybe he started like the first week or two, and then they said, all right, let's get CJ. But either way, did anybody think they were 10-7? Nobody. You can't play the schedule game because you don't know really in the end. Could you count on the Dolphins being so injury riddled again in 2 years in a row? I mean, we're due down here for a year where they have barely any injuries, and we got all the luck. They did start him, CJ, from the first game. Oh, good for them. Oh, to announce him as a starter? Okay. What was the name of the other guy? I keep forgetting that. Mills, that's it. That clown. Dude, I had people texting me that Davis Mills is better than Tua. I mean, they won't admit it now, but, that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's why the schedule game is stupid, because you can't predict who's going to be the surprising coach, who's going to be the surprising team, who's going to be the disappointing team. You can't predict injuries because you just don't know what team's going to suffer injuries, and it's going to Bengals and derail their season. Oh, by the way, they thought the Jets were going to be pretty good too. And well, they got him again this year because, the old man's healthy at the moment. You can't play the schedule game. You just can't. So I'm not doing that. Oh, there's going to be a win. There's going to be a loss. That's the dumbest shit in the world. And that is radio or podcasters, whatever, that, again, weak sauce. Hey, let's talk about Tua's salary. Should they pay him or not? Weak sauce, weak writer, weak broadcaster. They have to go for low-hanging fruit because they're lazy and they can't really do sports talk and they can't come up with things to talk about and find other things. So let's be lazy and let's argue about Tua's contract every day and compare it with this. And, oh, my God. They signed this quarterback. What does this do for Tua? It does nothing. But you can go ahead and talk about it. Just like the Devonta Smith contract gets signed and writers and radio people and blah. What does this do for the water? Does nothing, as you can see. as it just died out. After they all wrote and talked about the Devonta Smith contract, what did it do? It did nothing. Low-hanging fruit. And schedule talk is lazy radio, lazy writers, lazy bloggers, lazy podcasters. That's all they are. Okay? Take it from somebody that actually does this for a living and professionally has done it for 34 years and can run circles around all the people that do radio nowadays, pretty much, because most of them have to do low-hanging fruit topics because they really cannot do real sports talk. Listen to our breakdown of Brady and his complaints of the roast. Tell me if you hear that anywhere else. You won't, because they won't think about things like that. So, it's just shit like that goes on. And schedule talk, first and foremost, just to crush it right now, it's lazy shit. That's all it is. And by the way, those of you that are chasing schedule talk, you're also lazy fans. And that's why they do it, because they know they can sucker your ass into it. Just, let's get that shit out of the way. Okay? Anyway. Well, what happened now?
The Sportstradamus has spoken.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. For those of you that may not respect the Dolphins, well, the NFL does. Apparently, 5 primetime games this year. That's pretty awesome. And that's great for us as Dolphin fans. They got the September 12th Thursday game, week 2 against the Bills, 8:15. Great game to send a message. That's what that game should be about if you're the Miami Dolphins. You got to send a message on that one. That will be on Prime, obviously, because they have the Thursday games. ESPN, September 30th, a Monday night game against Tennessee. Get a little revenge. I can tell you this, Weaver's not going to allow Will Levis to go hang out there and smoke a Perdomo cigar and then find a receiver. That's not going to happen. So I would imagine that Anthony Weaver's going to be getting to the kid and rattling him a little bit there. So that's cool. ESPN, November 11th, a Monday night game at the Rams. All right. Rams took a little bit of a step back this year too. So this is one where you're actually not staying out on the West Coast for 2 weeks in a row, like a lot of people thought. You come back after the Rams. I believe it's the Raiders game here. I believe that's how it goes. Then November 28th, an NBC game on a Thursday night against the Packers. That's the Thanksgiving matchup at 8:20. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got December 29, Sunday, against the aforementioned Browns on the road at 8:20. That's an NBC game also on a Sunday night. And they could get flexed in or flexed out at the end. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think. Yeah, but what about the other weeks? The last couple of weeks, they could get flexed, right? I mean, if they're sexy.
They left the week 18 open to be announced, so they left that one wide open.
Right.
But I don't see us getting, like last year, we got put into that game.
Yeah, yeah. I think we could get flexed in for one more if we're sexy. If things are going well and they're not suffering injuries, I think we can actually enjoy a sixth one. But hey, listen, 5 is plenty of respect. They're looking at it. They're looking at the Dolphins as what they think is one of the primetime teams out there, right? So there's only a few teams that are either getting 6 or 5 or 4. That's a lot of primetime games. So if you're getting 4 or 5 or 6, they're thinking highly of you. And we're not in New York or LA or Chicago, which are the top 3 major markets. So for us to get 5, not a major market, but that's because the team is sexy, that's huge. That's the kind of stuff that gets New York and LA and Chicago when they're good. That's when, or they think they're going to be good, they'll get that. I think the Jets have 6, actually, if I'm correct. So that's but it's New York. It's understandable. That's kind of the way the way of the world. So I love the fact that they've got the five primetime games. What do you got for me, Sean? Yeah, the Jets are week 18. Yeah, it's either and it's either January 4th or 5th, that Jets game. That could get flexed. So I'm saying I think towards the end of the year, they could find themselves flexed into another game if they're having a good year and they're playing well, you know? So I like that. What else also? Like I told you, I love the early test message that you can send the Bills in week 2. You're playing the Bills November 3rd, so it's not going to be brutally cold. That's actually a positive. November 11, Monday, you're at the Rams, is what I was telling you, right? And then 8 days later, you're taking on the Bills. So you get to come back and you've got time before you take on the Bills. So that's pretty cool. The Thursday Packers game at Lambeau, 4 days after you play New England at Hard Rock. That's obviously a tough turnaround. A Thursday game is always a tough turnaround. That's, yeah. And listen, everybody deals with one of those deals where they play on a Sunday and then they play on a Thursday. So no, you can't necessarily complain, but it is a tough game to play. Not the New England one on a Sunday, but to then play the Packers on the road in Lambeau on a Thursday night. That's going to be a tough one for them, you know, overall. Now, if the defense is playing up to snuff by that time, and you've got healthier pass rushers, that should be pretty good there. That you know, you got yourself a chance to win that one. Then Sunday on December 22nd, you take on the Niners, and then you're at Hard Rock for a 4:25 game on that one on the 22nd. It's not a prime time, but it's kind of prime time-ish. Like, you've got 5 primetime games, but we all know the 4 o'clock games. How many of them are there? 3, 4 of them? Right. There's only 3 or 4. And so think about it. It's kind of a 6 primetime game already. Dolphins versus Niners at Hard Rock at 4:25. So you think about it, a 4:25 game normally would be in San Fran. Okay? Yep. This one is here at Hard Rock at 4:25 against a primetime team in the Niners. So let's see. You think they're going to be putting that one on a lot of markets in the afternoon?
Not only that, but I guarantee you they send their number 1 team and Mr. Thomas Brady.
Right? And we'll get to that conversation because we do complete sports talk here. And we'll get to that conversation because some people chimed in and all that on that one. I don't know if you saw that story. But anyway, so it's really a 6 primetime game. They won't call it a primetime game, you know, but I'm going to say it's kind of a semi-primetime game. Because, again, very few 4 o'clock games, even less 4:25 starts. Right? Because if there's 3 or 4, 1 or 2 of them will start at 4:05. And then the other 2 will start at 4:25. So Niners Dolphins, Sunday, December 22nd at 4:25. I'm going to go 5.5 primetime games because a lot of people are going to be watching that one. What? December 22nd at 4:25 on a Sunday. And then think about it. January 4th or 5th is the one at the Jets. Late season cold game. Okay, positive on this one. You want to prepare for cold games in the playoffs? There you go. You got one with the Jets, the final game of the season, and it's the 4th or the 5th. So we'll see what happens with that one. What do you got?
No, because I like the team. It's up at the top. I was like looking to find out where they're on CBS actually. It's going to be the 4:25 game on CBS.
No, it's not an NFC game because it's here.
Yeah,
so then, CBS has it, not Fox.
4:05.
If you were at San Fran, Fox would have it.
4:05 Chargers, Broncos at Chargers. 4:05 Vikings at Seahawks.
See?
And then the 4:25 other CBS game is Jaguars Raiders.
Jaguars Raiders. Niners Dolphins. Prime time. So really, they have like 5.5. You know, I think it's a full primetime game personally. In fact, what's the Sunday night game that week?
Buccaneers Cowboys.
It's prime time, baby. It's prime time. I mean, you know, if the Bucs surprise again this year, then okay, I guess. But you don't even know what the Cowboys are going to be. It wasn't like they had this offseason of a lifetime that they really tried to improve. As I told you, and I've been out on a limb on this for a while now. Jerry Jones purposely did not help Dak Prescott because they want to see him sink more than swim, and they want to move on. That's why they didn't give him a contract, and that's why they didn't do a lot of improvements. So, but I'm telling you, you look at this schedule. It's a sexy schedule, and you got to overcome stuff, but overall, I like it, man. I like it. And a lot of respect for the Dolphins on that one. True Fin Fan, thank you, my friend, for the love on the super chat. Do not read my first chat. Oh, my God. What did he do? What did he do? Oh, he did a schedule thing. Big O, is it me? Am I a blind-ass fan? Am I being unrealistic? Look at the schedule. If this team is relatively healthy, I see 12 wins. Now, you don't like to predict this, but am I wrong? I mean, I'm not going to go by the schedule, but they won 11, and they weren't healthy. That's what I keep telling everybody. In fact, I think I'm the only one that says this. Like, I'm the only one that adds logic to it. Oh, well, no, they can't win a playoff game. Well, hey, asshole, they were completely injury-riddled. 2 years ago, they didn't have their quarterback and their entire secondary, and half their offensive line was injured. This past year, half their secondary, Holland and X, was useless. Their 2/3 of their line was useless. Their entire linebacking core was gone. They lost their entire pass rushers. How do you expect them to win playoff games, asshole? You know, logic has to come into this. It's not an excuse. You know, I commend the Knicks for fighting through. But why the hell are we this deep into the series? Because the Knicks are injured. If the Knicks were healthy, Indiana may have won one game in this series. That's not an excuse. That's the reality, dude. And I don't give a shit about the Knicks. They could lose every game and I would be laughing my ass off. But again, I compartmentalize anything and everything, and I try to be objective. And the objectivity of it is, Knicks, only reason this series has gone this deep is because they're so injured. Period. And the only reason the Dolphins can't win a playoff game the last 2 years is because they've been so damn injured at the end of the year. So, True Fin Fan, dude, they won 11 games. 11 games. Injury-riddled last year. Can I get some luck for once? That's all I'm asking as a Dolphins fan. I'm asking for some luck at the end of the year. I know I can have an injury or two, but I don't want to have 8 or 10. Nobody wins with 8 or 10. How'd it go for the Bengals? Were they able to overcome? No. Oh, okay. Why? Injuries. Sorry, it's the reality of the whole situation. So, yes, True Fin Fan, I don't need to look at the goddamn schedule, dude. I know what the talent is. I need the coach to mature, and I need a break in injuries. And if I can get that break in the last 2 years that I haven't seen it, then easily 12 wins, maybe 13. Against who? I don't know, and I don't care. But they're a damn good team. This is one hell of a roster. We need some luck, man. We need some luck. That's all it is. That's all it's all about right now. Luck, and we need the coach to mature a little bit. It's like all these assholes out there. Well, Tua can't win the playoffs. Tua's been in the playoffs one time, moron. You know, when it's 5 or 6 and he's not winning a playoff game, then we'll talk. Then we'll say, yeah, this is really bad. I know you don't say it for Lamar Jackson, but I get it. But I'll say it for Tua if he doesn't do it for 5 or 6 times. Once, with an injury-riddled team against the best team in the NFL, in a day where people lost limbs because of frostbite. Yeah, I'm good, bro. I can live with the loss. I can live with the loss. But I'm not going to sit here and exaggerate. Why? Because you don't like Tua, so you need to make shit up. Or you don't really want to talk about the Dolphins the right way at the end of the year, so you need to make shit up. Oh, they can't win a playoff game. Really? Really? That's where you're going? There's not a reason why the last 2 years they can't win a playoff game? Do you really think those teams were set to win a playoff game? I mean, I can't argue with stupidity. I just can't. I'll just tell you, you're stupid. And you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's all. So, yes, true Fin fan. Easy 12 wins if they stay healthy. Big O, I want to buy a T-shirt that says low-hanging fruit on it with an illustration of you either picking fruit or potential Miami Dolphin players from a tree. Can you make that happen? Yes, I can, actually. I think John can make that happen. I will run that by him. I have an idea already on that. It's just a little bit different, but kind of the same. But yes, true Fin fan. Again, I'm so with you. Please, no more injuries. I just want a little luck, dude. Just a little luck. That's all I'm asking. Just a little luck. We can work it out. We can make this whole damn thing work out, bro, with a little luck. Just with a little luck. That's all. Big O, if you could pick one game to go on the Dolphins schedule to go either home or away, which game would you pick? Edward Thurston Howell says. It would definitely be a West Coast game because, you know what it's all about. Let me see. Let me pull up the schedule so I know exactly what I would do. So I don't BS you. Let's see. Dolphins schedule. Okay, here we go, sir. Bro, the San Fran game would have been good, but it's here, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go at Rams Oh God, it's a Monday night, even better, bro. Monday night Rams is what I would do. That'd be pretty cool. Even it would be even more economical because you can fly back on a Tuesday instead of flying back on a Sunday where they screw you always. These airlines know and shit like that. So I would say Monday at the Rams because it's in Los Angeles. Selfishly, I could go to a concert on a Saturday or Sunday. You know what I mean? That's just me. But yeah, November 11th. That's probably what I would do, Mr. Thurston Howell. I would do that. That would be the game. Oh, and you know what? You know what's so cool? I went to a Rams game on purpose a few years back. Now that you told me, you reminded me. I went for a week to see concerts in Los Angeles. And at the same time, I saw the Rams and the Seahawks at the Coliseum before they had the new stadium built. Because I wanted to go to a game in the Coliseum before the Coliseum is kaput for pro football. And it was like, dude, I get to go see a pro football game in the LA Coliseum. So I went and I saw that. I also saw Robert Plant at the Greek Theater. I saw I think it was that week. I think we saw you two twice at the Forum. I think that was the same week. We saw the Bengals at the Troubadour. The Bengals at the Troubadour. That was pretty cool. In fact, not only did we see the Bengals at the Troubadour, but what's her name? The guitarist from the Go-Go's came over and joined them on stage. The blonde one now. I'm forgetting her name now. That she had a drug problem and all that kind of stuff. She's the one that had the heroin issue and all, and the rest of the band had no idea that she was on heroin and all that. It was like she was addicted to heroin and no one in the band knew. It's crazy. It's crazy. I forgot her name, but she was up. She got up there and jammed with them. It was really cool. It's a great week. I also that week I had a phenomenal week. I went to a Dodgers game. That week, I was with Bill. In fact, Bill Preston, rest in peace, my brother. I love you. We went to a Dodgers game. We went to a Mets Padres game too. In fact, the dude with the long blonde hair was pitching for the Mets. I forgot his name now. He had like 10 Ks. Huh? Thur. Yes. Yes. No, it's not DeGrom. Wait a minute. Yes, it is actually Jacob DeGrom. I think it might have been Jacob DeGrom that pitched. And he had 10 strikeouts. I remember that. So, yeah, great week. It was one of the greatest weeks of my life, dude. Like, we did something every day. We went to a concert or a baseball game. It was freaking awesome, Edward. It was one of those once-in-a-lifetime trips. You know, you're never gonna really. I've never, huh? Syndergaard. It was Syndergaard. Why, you went and looked at the game? No, it was Noah Syndergaard. It was Syndergaard. It was Syndergaard. The long hair. It was Syndergaard, and he had 10 strikeouts. So that would be. I would go to L.A. again because I would make it. You know, L.A. can guarantee me. Like, I bet you if I go to concert listings and I go look at Los Angeles concerts right around November 11th. I bet you there'll be a good concert or two that I will like. So that's probably why, because I will always, he knows it because he travels with me. Anybody that travels with me knows that wherever I'm going for whatever, I'm going to look to see if there's also a concert so I can enjoy a little music. So LA would be awesome because you get the Rams and then you get some kind of a concert. Nothing good? I'm not Sting November 11th. I mean the same day, but is it November 11th or December 11th? Rams. No, November 11th. You're right. Yeah, I wouldn't go see Sting. I've seen Sting already. I'm stinged out. The last time I saw Sting, I went to see him only because it was Sting and Shaggy performing, and that was different. That was, so I had to see that because Shaggy. Mr. Lover. Oh girl, Mr. Lover. So I had to go Shaggy, and plus it was a good mix with those two. They had that album together and all that. So I kind of had to enjoy that. But I've already seen enough Sting, and so I'm stinged out. So really no concerts. I'm shocked that LA would not have, Edward says, I think you should sell Big O condoms. Give her the Big O. We'll put it on the side of the condom as you roll it down. The logo on the front, right? And then give her the Big O. Okay. That sounds interesting. Big O, buenas tardes, mi hermano. Greetings from Shorewood, Illinois. Lake Geneva, Wisconsin was amazing. You got to take the misses. Like we said last week, I've heard good stuff from it. Cosa Nostra's in. James Vivinetti. Big O was the singer Belinda No. I said the Bangles. Not the Go-Go's, the Bangles. And the singer is actually hotter. Belinda Carlisle is a good-looking woman, but come on, man. The Bangles? Susan, talk about gorgeous and a half. Yeah. Hoffs. Yeah. Susanna Hoffs. Yeah. So I said Susan. Susanna Hoffs is gorgeous and a half, dude. Gorgeous and a half. Big O, if you were to assemble a super band, who would the members be? Plant, Eddie Van Halen, Neil Peart, Flea. I'm going to go against the grain on one thing here. Okay? I'm going to go Jimi Hendrix is my guitarist. Okay? My drummer, it's a good one, bro, because there's so many that I can choose from. I'll stick with Peart on that one. No, I'm gonna go John Bonham. I'm gonna go John Bonham. I'm gonna go John Bonham because the variety of the music with his drumming. So I'm gonna go John Bonham. And then on bass, my guy is Steve Harris, because I'm a Maiden guy. But I'm dude, I think I have to go with Mr. Primus himself, Les Claypool, because Les's playing has this variety to it also, you know? And then my singer, well, my singer has to be Freddie. Forget it. It's why would I pick anybody else, dude? And Freddie can do anything I want. So his variety, like Queen's music, or he did opera, you know, that voice can carry anything, can do anything I want. I can do a ballad, I can do a rock, I can do a pop song, I can just mix it all up, you know? I want a rock song country-ish, I want a rock song bluesish, whatever. I can use Freddie's voice however the hell I want. So I'm kind of go with artists that I can kind of get flexible with at the same time. So that'll be, and if I'm going keyboards, give me Rick Wakeman from Yes. Okay? Give me Rick Wakeman. So I'll go there on keyboards. That's my super band. That's my super band, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? I mean, I could change up a couple things, obviously. It's so subjective, that question. You know? Remember, folks, you can make a donation also through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And you can always make a Bitcoin donation, which you know we always love that shit. Cheers, Big O, from Packer Cheesehead Land, Fins fan since Don Strock. Thanks for actual intelligent Fins in South Florida sports podcast. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Eric Simon. Oh, do you keep merchandise with you during the show? Maybe I can go to Pembroke Pines next time. No, sir, I don't. I don't keep it's all being printed now. Okay, because after the first orders, we sent the people that order in a week or two, they'll probably get a lot faster than the people that first ordered, because I had to get a feel for what I have to invest in. So no, sir, I can't. No, I can't do that. I'm not rich. So I can't do that. Loving those shirts. Will you have other colors down the roads besides white? Yes, that's a great idea. I think we need to change that part up. In fact, you know what? I am going to talk to Alan, and I should offer that option also. Besides the sizes, we should offer colors too. It's a good one. It's a very good one. Which shirts do you want to change colors in? Talk to me about that. Okay. Thank you for supporting our show, hats, shirts, however, whatever it is that you purchased. Thank you all out there. According to ESPN, the Fins will have the hardest schedule for seasons for 4 seasons from this season. Ragin is there. Ragin, did you hear? We got to make a low-hanging fruit shirt where Chris Greer is picking low-hanging fruit. And what I'm thinking is like a OBJ and like a fruit that's, like that. So we got to come up with them. I kind of like that. It's a really good one. Somebody sent me a drawing of that already, and it was a really good drawing. I have it on Twitter somewhere. I don't know where the hell it's at. Nearly all the talking heads doing schedule talk had the Dolphins beating the Titans last season. Yeah, exactly. That's why playing the schedule is such crap, and you don't really know how things are going to turn out. Just look at your team overall. What up, Big O? What do you think about re-signing X for a good price to play him instead of Kohu? Kohu has me iffy. I'll worry about Kohu if he struggles now. I'm not worried about what happened last year. And I don't want X on the team anymore. He can't stay healthy. He's done already, bro. Josh, lazy job by social media for the Dolphins by releasing this. Oh, yeah, the fast schedule thing. I got to tell you something. I understand what you were trying to execute, but it sucked. Just to be honest. I would have had what I would have done? I let the schedule goes by, right? And then maybe there's a whistle and a penalty and a flag flies in. And let's go review this play. And then guess what? And then you show it inside a finder for the referee, and then it comes up slowly. And then maybe, I don't know, you have some kind of a challenge or something from the coach. And then and he finally wins one, and then it closes.
Yes, but see, here's the thing. I
get what you're trying to do, fastest team, fastest schedule, but
you just had the F1 here. Why didn't you use them? Have the cars driving by with the team on there or something.
Better. That's even
just
better.
Had the F1 there. You had a chance to do it, and you just Tyreek and Raheem on a laptop. I mean,
they could have filmed the cars individually and then added the imaging after, because they didn't have the schedule and they can't put it out there because then people will find out.
But they could have videoed it.
They could have videoed the cars and then add the imaging after on the day of today. Yesterday, I mean.
Yeah, the teams knew last week, 2 weeks
ago.
Yeah,
no, and it was bad. No, it was bad.
Could have had it. And then you don't have to know what it is. The car's just driving by. You could record it and put it in whatever order you need it to be in.
Yeah.
But you have one of the fastest sports right there with the F1, and didn't use it.
Yep.
Instead, you finally used Tyreek for something.
Right. Let's see. Ragin says, don't worry about Kohu. He just didn't fit Fangio's system. Yeah, Fangio didn't like young guys. Period. Big O, I really don't make a big deal of the schedule when it comes out, but it is still fun to try to guess how many wins and losses the Dolphins will have, by the way. Yeah, but again, I just look at it totality instead. And I think I picked 12 last year, and they won 11. So, it's 9.5 now. I would take 9.5. I would go over. If it's 9.5, I would definitely go over. I like that. Injuries can't be controlled. We just easily have another injury-plagued season. It could happen. It could happen, and definitely for you, Troy, since you're very negative, that would be something that you would be, harping on. Big O, I have back again. I'm here in Orlando. I hope you and everybody are having a great day. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, my brother. Let's see what else. Susanna Haas is 65 and she's go look at her on Instagram. And you know what the best part about Susanna Haas? One of my favorite things about Susanna Haas, and one of the things that I love about some women that they can do this. She wears little to no makeup. She's constantly looking all natural, and she looks gorgeous, dude. Gorgeous. Drop dead beautiful. Telling you, bro. She has always been a beautiful woman, and it's amazing. She ages with so much grace. Very Halle Berry-like, put it that way. I'm not a Primus fan, but Claypool is a phenomenon. Dude, I'm a Steve Harris guy. For me to say Les Claypool is the man, it takes a lot, bro. It takes a lot, and Les Claypool is the man, bro. Les Claypool went to try out for Metallica. Listen to me. Les Claypool went to try out for Metallica, and they told him, you're too good for us. You need to go get your own band. When Trujillo took over, before they hired Trujillo, Les Claypool tried out for the band. And they were like, no, dude. You need your own band, bro. You're too good. Because Les is like Flea in a way. Les is he's the lead guitar in his band. And when you go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they have a lead guitarist, but he's just called the lead guitarist. He's really not the lead guitarist. If you watch the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Flea is the bassist and the lead guitarist. Because he's the one that puts on the show, not that guy. Yeah, it's Les is at another level, dude, that I've never seen before in my entire life. It's just one of those deals. Yes, sir.
So the Dolphins are 9.5. They opened at 9.5.
I'd easily
the overs plus 118.
I'd easily bet the over.
To win the AFC East, they opened at 175. Now they're at plus 200, and they're plus 2,500 for the Super Bowl.
Wow, it's amazing. It's crazy. By the way, at Acura Pembroke Pines, they've got the 16th anniversary sale going on right now. 3.9% financing for 60 months right now. The 2024 Integra, $319 a month. The RDX 2024, $419 a month. And the MDX, $429 a month. Again, 3.9% financing for 60 months. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. Go see Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, all the great people there at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. And by the way, if you own or lease an Acura, our service center there with Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber are top notch. Top notch. So go visit them there and get your car serviced there at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. It's the number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. So you don't need to drive around the Southeast United States and waste a lot of gas and a lot of money and a lot of time. Just go to Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, folks. They'll get it done for you. Freddie Mercury was barred none, the greatest rock voice of my lifetime. And as a former drummer myself, Bonham is the best. You know, I don't care if you tell me Ginger Baker's the best drummer or Neil Peart or Mike Portnoy. There's a lot of great elite drummers out there. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. Keith Moon was absolutely phenomenal for The Who. You know, a guy that a lot of people don't talk about unless you're old, you know. But that's just kind of the way it is. It's a subjective thing. Bonham would be my pick on that one, you know, because I'm kind of forming a band that has a lot of flexibility in it, and I can do whatever I want with it, you know. And so that's why I kind of go in that direction with the guys that I picked. Let's see. Rams release of the schedule makes me want to go through the wall. Oh, you know what? I didn't spend my time watching others. I didn't. So
the one I did see was the Patriots, because I think
I wouldn't know.
Joe or one of them did it, and they did a
Joe
Shad.
Oh, Joe Shad.
And
By the way, happy birthday to Omar Kelly.
I mean,
Kelly is
one of them posted, and it was
Omar Kelly's celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to O. Happy birthday to him.
They used Julian Edelman and Gronk, and instead of Goodwill Hunting, it was called Good Jules Hunting. And they went through the whole thing with the schedule, with Edelman figuring out the thing, and that was pretty good.
David is asking for an aqua blue and orange combo shirt. Okay. All right, I'll talk to Ragin about that. Creating a for the 305 shirt. Right? Okay. Let's see. What else you guys got here? By the way, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics. If your company needs uniforms, hats, shirts, your fantasy league, whatever it is, call my friends at 3A Graphics sports calendar. I just realized I talked about Keith Moon and I have a Who shirt on. Anyway, 980 West 22nd Street, right here in Hialeah, man. So if you're here in South Florida, custom printing and embroidery, they can do it. He sent me the embroidery stuff for the hats. Looking phenomenal, dude. Last night, Inter Miami and Orlando City played to a draw, 0-0. No offense, no Messi, no offense. Not a good look for Tata. They got DC United on Saturday at Chase Stadium. We'll see if Messi plays. Celtics eliminated the Cavs 113-98. C's win the series 4-1. No Donovan Mitchell. Cavs have no shot. Mavs over the Thunder 104-92. Dallas has a 3-2 lead. Doncic with 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists with a triple-double. Kyrie, 12 points. How about Derek Jones Jr., dude? Former Heater, 19 points, 3 of 5 shooting from three-point range. Nice job for Derek Jones, man. Tonight, 8:30, ESPN, Denver leading 3-2. They've won 3 in a row on the T-Wolves now, and the T-Wolves are favored by 2.5 in Minnesota. We'll see if they can stave off elimination. Over and under is 205. Nuggets are plus 110 on the money line. T-Wolves are minus 130. Game 6 of Panthers-Bruins will be tomorrow night. So we'll see if they can go to Boston and eliminate the Bruins. Marshawn's back? Should be. Okay.
He was interviewed today.
I know. I saw it. You think he had a concussion?
The way he talks, I don't know, maybe. Just what did he say? He said that when you're playing in the playoffs, you're trying to hurt the other players.
Yeah, you are. You are. You ever watch hockey?
No, I get that, but like,
they don't give a shit. They're going to slam you against the wall. They're going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, but Marchand.
You shouldn't say it.
Marchand is one of those guys too, though, that takes shots that are
right.
Not the cleanest of shots either. So that's the thing.
Did you watch him curl his shoulder up, ready to lay a blow on it? Yeah. And that's when Bennett said, "F you, dude. I'm going to knock your ass out."
Well,
and he put him right into the wall.
Also, before that too, he took that shot where he hit his head on. But like I'm saying,
listen, don't talk tough if you're not going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? And so Marchand is that guy, right? Well, guess what? Bennett is that guy too.
Yeah. No. My thing is just like, look, we know what happens. You don't sit there and talk about it because now I have a feeling Game 6 is going to be looked at under a microscope.
I'm sure it's already been like that from the get-go. After that exchange, they've been on the thing is, it didn't get completely out of control in the last game because we were all kind of waiting for Hansen Hockey to take over.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm talking about Slapshot, Hansen Brothers, Hansen Hockey, just in case. Goes over some young people that have never seen Slapshot. Funniest hockey movie of all time. But go ahead.
No, I'm saying it never transpired, but I still feel like
Hansen Hockey could come.
They allowed, though, the Panthers to be the Panthers. Like with what they're saying now, I feel like it's going to get, because both teams are chippy, but the Panthers play more physical brand.
That's their game.
Yeah, and I feel like now I'll wait till Game 6 to see how it plays out.
Oh, you think they
might
might
hold? But I feel like this is the thing where it's like, let's watch the shots that they're getting, and if it's too, then penalty, to the box, you're going to start seeing that play out, and that's what I feel like this statement was more about. Like, hey, yeah, we're trying to hurt each other.
Right.
And now it's going to be kind of magnified for the Game 6 because, look, the Bruins need what they can get.
Yeah, no, definitely. They're outclassed right now. Big O, you need to check out the band Sleep Token. Okay. Got a lot of bands to check out. Sleep token. All right. I wrote it down. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break here for hour number 1. Hour number 2 is coming up. I got a couple things I want to talk about. One, Heat Nation, you're being set up. So I want you to know you're being set up, and I'm going to tell you how you're being set up. Okay. On the other side, I want to talk a little bit about a little Dolphin talk. I thought Odell Beckham had a couple of interesting comments from his press conference yesterday. I want to go over that. Cam Newton on Rashi Rice. Kind of interesting comments. What else? Tom Brady. Fox is doing something that is a bit of a gamble. And we're going to talk about that also, too, at the same time. I got a bunch of things that I want to get to. Also, of course, we'll get to your comments, all kinds of stuff. You can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. You can also make a Bitcoin donation. Don't forget to visit our merchandise shop. We got a new merchandise shop with hats and shirts and all kinds of stuff. We're going to be adding more stuff to it, so please check it out. And that's about it. Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, driving the program. Back with hour number 2 of the Big O Radio Show live from beautiful Hialeah Park.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed. They're breaking into my house! Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop. No, not the TV! Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you. Get out of my house! Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
There's a new sheriff in town at Toyota of Hollywood. Cash in your chips and get a great deal on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not 24,000, 17,975. Giddy up to the bank and get 2.99% financing on our most popular models. So mosey on down to our western town at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, hour number 2 here at Hialeah Park, where, folks, we are in the second floor poker room. We've got, of course, our $100 no-regret first bet. So remember, folks, even if you have a Hard Rock account, come through the Hialeah website or use the QR code that you'll see there. Sean will put up the billboard now in a second. Use the QR code, and you can make sure you use a different email or phone number to open that account, and then you can make a bet, and you can get your $100 no-regret first bet. So there you go. So take advantage. Use the QR code or go right through the Hialeah Park website and enjoy a little sports gambling, baby, here at Hialeah Park. It's a beautiful thing. And, of course, come on out here, enjoy the second floor poker room. Always loaded. Ladies are serving you drinks and food. I was just seeing a guy eating while they brought him a nice sandwich, and he was able to eat, and they have like a little table, and they wheel up to you, and they got TVs everywhere. So if there's races or games going on, they've got betting windows there for any track around the country, all kinds of stuff, man. So in the first floor poker room, the first floor, they've got loosest slots in Florida. Not the loosest slots in Hialeah, Miami, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. No. Hialeah Park has the loosest slots in the entire state, period. That's all documented on the website. Not Hialeah's website, the state website. The state has all of the casinos. Hialeah's number 1 loosest slots. So if you're a slot player, it's a no smoking area also. Now they do have an outside area. It's covered. It's got a lot of ventilation, a lot of fans and stuff. And it's called the Smoking Hot Slots. So you can actually, be outside. So it's really cool here at Hialeah Park. Check it out. They do a really nice job overall. Even up here in the second floor poker room, there's no smoking. But you can actually take a break and come right outside of the balcony and enjoy the landscaping, the beauty, all of that, and smoke away, baby. So it's pretty cool. So check it out here at Hialeah Park. Very friendly. You will enjoy it. Let's see. What else do we have? Bad Omen, good band, bro. Bad Omen. So you guys are onto the band stuff. Danny Carey would be my drummer, 100%. They bought their effing toys, rather be playing with toys than themselves. I don't know what that means. Must be part of another conversation. I saw the Bangles back in the day at the Sunrise Musical Theater. Back in the day, I missed that place. Yes, I do too. The Sunrise Musical Theater was my favorite place to go to a concert. Absolutely favorite place to go to a concert. Big time. I'm with you there. So let's get into a couple stories here. First of all, I don't find myself necessarily agreeing with Cam Newton a lot, but I gotta give him props when you deserve it. When you're right, you're right. And it's not something that he said that is earth-shattering or anything like that. It's kind of common sense. But apparently some people don't have it, and that's Rashi Rice. So he was on his 4th and 1 podcast, and he says there's not a person in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes included, that the league can't do without. Trust me. So he goes, Rashi Rice needs to keep the main thing the main thing. He goes, what do you want to do for it? You got your family to take care of, Newton says. Keep that shit in perspective. Keep the main thing the main thing. You're out here punching photographers and driving reckless. I know you're young, but bro, you're responsible for too much shit to have to be where you put your hat on. So, yeah, he's young. He'll get it. But by the time he gets it, it's going to be over with. And how many times do we see this? I will tell you this. There's not a person in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes included. The league don't need you, bro. Trust me. They don't need you. And they traded Peyton Manning when they thought he was done. They told Joe Montana, get lost. When the Oilers said, we've had enough of Gretzky, they traded him to L.A. Sports, Joe, you can't do it anymore. Namath is broken down with the Rams. Willie Mays, you can't do it anymore. Broken down with the Mets. This is life. This is pro sports. And the second that they feel you are no longer useful or the problems outweigh the talent, look at it, kid. If you didn't hear, they were trying to trade up during the draft, and they still took a receiver with the last pick in the first round. And they brought a receiver on in free agency. Hint, hint. And it's not like people are going to be lined up to sign you. Somebody might give you a shot, but it'll be at a minimum. You're already ruining your big payday. You've already ruined it now. You got no big payday coming anymore. So I want to give Newton some love. You know why? We need more of this. We need more of the Udonis Haslams and the Cam Newtons actually telling it like it is. And hopefully they're not misleading people like lots of people do out there. So, this is refreshing because they need to see this. And they need to hear this. And I'm sure Rashi Rice's agent, I hope he's already told them this. I hope somebody that loves Rashi Rice, parent, sibling, best friend, somebody, I hope they're being honest with him because the kid's got talent and he's doing everything in his power to piss away his entire career. So kudos to Cam Newton for coming out and saying what needs to be said and what that kid needs to hear. Because clearly, if you had the photographer situation after the car situation, there's a disconnect somewhere. You're not getting it. It's kind of like the kid from the basketball player, the one with the gun and what's his name? Memphis. What's his name? John Moran. That's right. We call him John Moran on this show because he's a moron. So John Moran on this show. Yes. Like you had the gun incident, then you do it again. It's like, brother, how stupid are you? What kind of a dumbass are you, kid? Like, you don't get it? So kudos to Cam Newton because that we need more of that in a big time way. Now, let me tell you where Fox. Were you going to say something? What do you got? What do you got?
I was going to say, Chris Wilson came back on. He said it's from Slapshot. They'll let them play with their toys.
Oh,
that's
right.
From Slapshot.
That's right. That's right. The Hanson
catch in
brothers.
between,
That's
sorry.
right. I picked up on it. That's right. That's what it is from. Okay. That's it. It's a great scene. Have you ever seen Slapshot? Seriously? You've never watched the whole thing? Oh, you have to do that once, bro.
I think every time I've watched it has been like you were talking about the other day where you're flipping through channels and it's like, oh, yeah, I got to watch it. Oh, yeah.
If
I've
you
never like sat there and been like, oh, it's starting at 3 o'clock.
or record it. Just set it to record, and then whenever it plays.
Especially in this day and age, all I got to do is go on, look up Slapshot.
And that's it, and hit record, and then whenever it comes up, it'll record it for you. If you haven't seen Slapshot, you should at least watch it once. There are so many funny scenes in that movie. You know, it's just an absolutely effed up movie, you know, in every way possible. So we've got the Kelsey brothers speaking their piece. And I like this because there's a gamble that's being taken. And we really don't know how it's going to turn out, right? Because Tony Romo started with a bang, and then now that if they could get out of that contract, they would have gotten out of that contract a year ago. Now they're dying to get out of it because he's not that good anymore. He had some luster early, and then he lost all his luster and apparently didn't work at it. And so you just don't know what you're going to get from some broadcasters. And just because they might be colorful, they might have been a great player or whatever, it doesn't mean that it's going to translate to being a great broadcaster and being able to connect with people and those kind of things. And there are other examples of things that have been tried and it didn't work. And I'm sure you guys can think of some of those broadcasters out there that people thought were going to be good broadcasters, and then all of a sudden it didn't really work out for them. You know, it's kind of strange that way. You know, it's interesting. Matt Millen was one of the favorites, the darlings. Once he became a general manager and was a terrible one, he then went back to broadcasting and was no longer beloved anymore. He didn't have the same because you got exposed. You didn't know what you were doing when you said you know, but it sounds great when it's all talk. Then when you actually got to do it, then it's a whole different ballgame. And Matt Millen, you know, failed miserably. And then when he went back, you know, they thought, oh, well, he was the darling in media. He wasn't the darling anymore. So there's gambles. Even when you've been successful, you may not continue to be successful. Even if you had a good year, doesn't mean you're going to have great years. Or even if they thought you were going to be a good broadcaster, well, they found out you weren't. You know, and that happens at times. Guys get hired, and all of a sudden you find out, oh, man, this guy's not that good at this. Well, Tom Brady is set to start his career on Fox. And Fox immediately put him on the number 1 team. And you see who they knocked down to the number 2?
Yeah, the tight end.
Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen, yeah. That was the talk last year, too. But it's,
Greg Olsen's really good, bro.
Yeah, no,
not last year. Last couple of years.
Well, no. I'm saying Greg Olsen being removed from the first team because of Tom Brady.
Right.
It was like,
but he's
really?
been the talk of how good he is.
Yes, and he's been good over the years. He's improved actually.
It wasn't a Romo fluke bullshit.
No. He's actually gotten better because again, I think with a tight end though but again, you talk about quarterbacks. It's just tight ends seem to be smarter as far as picking everything. Whereas Romo was good that first year because
he knew everything. He knew what they were doing.
But then
as changes went on, he didn't keep up.
Can't keep up. Whereas I think Olsen figures out the studying and everything else, and it goes.
But he's also good at delivering it. You know, because there have been some guys that aren't good at delivering it. And
That might be what's happened with Romo.
How many of you guys can name guys that became broadcasters, and then you find out they're not very good at this? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to start getting into names, and then I'm going to start insulting people.
But I think that's what's happened to Romo, though, too, right? Because he comes off as
lazy,
but also I know more than you,
right?
Like it's like I know, it's like,
and you're not.
You don't, buddy.
And you're not. So Brady is set to take over. We're not sure how good he's really going to be. I'll give you an example of something that I was unimpressed with. So here comes the roast, right? And they introduce him. And his introduction to everybody was lame as hell. It was like, okay, I'm here. Let's go. And that's it. He sat down, and he probably should have had a little bit more of a colorful message for everybody in general. And he wasn't really that prepared. Then at the end, he actually had his piece at the end, and he was all right. But it wasn't great. And so now you knock the guy that you know is really good to the number 2. So you're going to schedule out the games, and you're going to put Brady in the better ones. What if he's not the better one? And Olsen's already experienced and knows what he's doing. Why didn't you alternate at least? That way you don't insult Olsen. You don't totally commit to Brady just in case. You protect yourself. And you kind of alternate the best games with Olsen and Brady. But you kind of knocked them down. And then the Kelsey boys came in. And first of all, Travis says, I love my guy Greg Olsen. They kind of did him dirty over there at Fox. But, I mean, it's Tom Brady. What can you do? Sometimes you just got to do your thing, and Greg does a fucking tremendous job, right? So then Jason Kelsey comes in and says, I try not to be biased against the commentators and the color guys, but I think Greg is phenomenal at it. You can tell he makes it a point to know what he's really talking about. I think he's got a beautiful blend of knowledge and experience to unleash when he calls games. It's a joy to watch Greg call games and listen to it. And I got to tell you something, man. Olsen, by the way, is also taking a pay cut in 2024 to be part of the number 2 broadcast, along with Joe Davis. Brady, meanwhile, signed a $375 million deal. So not only are you moving Olsen down, you're asking him to take a pay cut. Yeah. Right, $10 million to $3 million. If I'm Olsen, I have my agent looking for a way out to go to CBS or go to NBC. And if I'm NBC or I'm ESPN or I'm Prime, I want to steal that guy because he might be better than Brady. And by the way, this has shit to do with Kane stuff. Okay, nothing. I love the Canes. I don't do that shit. I don't play that game. Okay? If he sucked on the air, I would tell you Greg Olsen sucks on the air. He's phenomenal, dude. He does an excellent job. And I've seen way too many guys from all the way back to O.J. Simpson, and you put people in the wrong place because you think they've got it and they can do it, and they can't. Eric Dickerson. You thought he was a great player, and then you put him there, and come on, man. Eric Dickerson couldn't put 3 sentences together. He was terrible. And I've seen a lot of those guys over the years that they've experimented with. Guys that were great players. That doesn't mean you're going to be a great broadcaster. It just doesn't, man. You know how many ex-players I've worked with on pre- and post-game shows? And I could tell you half of them didn't belong anywhere on the air with me. They were lazy. They didn't do any homework. They barely even wanted to be there. I remember one guy that we hired, and it was a night game. And we're like 20 minutes or 30 minutes from the broadcast. And, you know, you should be there an hour or two before your broadcast, preparing and doing a lot of these guys just show up early, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, show up with their bottle of whatever they're drinking and no notes, no nothing, you know? So this guy, I call him, there's like 20 minutes left. I go, yo, dude, where are you at? He goes, what do you mean? I go, we got the pregame show. And he goes, oh, I thought we only do 1 o'clock games. I go, bro, you're a pre and post game host. Doesn't matter the time. Oh, my bad. I'm not going to say a name, but, you know, like that was his only season there. Because when they asked me, I said, no. You can't bring that guy back. Yeah, because the people above me don't even listen. They don't even know. Like, they didn't even know he was late that day. No, wait a minute. No, he didn't come. He was already drinking at the game. That's what it was. He was already drinking at the game. And I was like, yeah, bro, don't worry about it. I'll handle it from here. I'm good. You sure? Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about it, bro. I don't need you, dude. They just hired your ass because, well, it looked good because we had a former player. I've been at this long enough. I don't need a former player if he doesn't know how to bring it, bro. I can add the analysis. I can add the color. I can add insight. I can add whatever the hell I want to add, bro. I don't need your ass. But, you know, that's kind of the way it goes. Chris Collinsworth was a great player, but as a broadcaster, not so great. Here's where I'm going to disagree with you. I think Collinsworth was good early in his career. Now he's lazy. And now he leans on his, what's that, Pete? Huh? Yeah, I know, but he is a PFF or whatever. You know, he's part owner of that. And so that's one of the biggest cancers in football is Pro Football Focus, or is that what it's called? The one of all those stats. Yeah, PFF. That's it. That shit is garbage, bro. That is the most misleading bunch of bullshit that exists out there. And we've got writers that live off of that. We've got broadcasters like him that now live off of that. And it's just inaccurate stuff, dude. It doesn't take everything into account when it rates players and matchups and all that. It is very inaccurate, incredibly inaccurate. So here's what I would tell you. Chris Collinsworth was an excellent broadcaster early. Now, weak sauce. Lazy. Go ahead.
So it looks like Olsen's contract does have an out clause if a top job at another network was available.
It's coming next year.
So
it's coming next year.
Yeah, but right now that's not available, but there is an out for him if
next year
the opening comes available.
Mark my words right here. Mark my words right here. Next year, Greg Olsen will be working for another network as one of their lead guys. We have spoken. Etched in stone. Next year, Greg Olsen, another network, calling NFL games. Bank on it.
The Sportstradamus has spoken.
Anyway, so you got that. Okay. But I appreciate the Kelseys. Tell it like it is, dude. Tell it like it is. Again, I don't know if Brady will be good or bad, but none of us really know. None of us really know. What's that?
Here's the other thing, too, and I don't know if you've ever gone through any of these or anything, but they had them do some of the playoff games in the Super Bowl in a room.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
like but that's not the same, right? I mean,
and during the offseason, he'll go and James Brown or whatever, some of these guys, and he'll work with them.
You don't get the same
simulations.
I guess you
know
because
it's not the same. Because you know why it's not the same? Because you have to ad lib at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Ad libbing is, if you can't ad lib, you can't do this job.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you see it every day with me. But you know, most of the people you've worked with can't do what I do, talk for an hour, 2 hours straight.
No, that's why they do the 8 minutes.
They do the 8-minute commercial breaks. And they need 2 or 3 people in the studio to talk. They can't even do it like by themselves pretty much. It's not ad-libbing is it's an art. And you either have it or you don't, and either you're able to develop it or you can't. And so this is things that we don't know if he has or not, because you've got to be able to adjust on the fly as things come at you. You know what I'm saying? And you've got to, you know, like for me, I've got to have a knowledge of all the sports, everything going on, pop culture, because I weave all of that in there. I weave pop culture comments and movies and all that kind of crap, right? And then I throw in music, and I throw in entertainment, and I throw in politics, and I throw in crypto, and I throw in all kinds of stuff. And so, and I'll give you history sometimes. I'll give you world facts or science or whatever. I'll just mix in things that just kind of analogies that go with something that's completely different, because that's how you're supposed to prepare for something like this. You've got to try to have as much information in your head as possible. But if you're limited and your knowledge is limited and your education is limited, then your vocabulary and your delivery and everything is going to be limited. And then it's hard to communicate. And it's hard and it's impossible to ad lib. It is impossible to ad lib if you have no information. And in live television or radio, you must be able to ad lib, because things are going to come up that you will not be able to count on in a recorded broadcast. That you already know the score, you already know what happened, and it's a broadcast that you already may know the game already. Oh yeah, I remember that game. You're cheating already. You're already knowing what's coming up.
You're not getting
surprised.
The practice either of knowing how to study leading up. You know, every week things change. I mean, it's completion percentages. Of course, they've got producers in their ears giving them some things here and there, but you still have to have an idea.
Anecdotes and experiences.
You still have to have the ideas of what, so you can relay it, like you're saying, to kind of just transition from something to another thing and not just go, And I was thinking, why wouldn't they do a 3-person booth? But then when I saw the salaries, you got that's $47 million sitting in the booth.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. And they're cutting back, too, in some places.
And Fox doesn't even have the Super Bowl, right? Because they just had the Super Bowl. Didn't they have the Super Bowl this year?
I forgot now. Or
was Romo?
I think it was CBS this year.
Was it Romo this year?
I think it was CBS this year. I think you're right.
No, Fox had it this year, right? Or did CBS have it?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Now I'm forgetting.
Well, if you can let him know on a check, because I'm just wondering, because now you've paid him all that money, and he's not even, you're going to have him.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have the Super Bowl or not. Yeah, that's a good one. No, Louis Riddick is phenomenal, dude, 67. And Chris Sims is the worst. Oh, what's your opinion on nepotism in broadcasting and coaching? Definitely seems like it's, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, how does Chris Sims have a job, dude? He's terrible. Dad, for sure. They didn't bring back his dad. Yeah. And they didn't bring back Boomer. Although I will say this, bro, Boomer's voice is shot. God, it is hard to listen to Boomer, bro. I don't know how you people in New York listen to Boomer and Carton. Again, I like Boomer overall. I got no problem with what he says. But the grovelly voice, like his voice has been shot for a long time, dude. It sounds terrible, dude. It's like nails on a chalkboard listening to Boomer Esiason talk. Oh, God, it's bad, dude. Just on QAM, they need 4 hosts. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's normal sports talk. There aren't solo hosts anymore. How many people can do it by themselves? Very few can do it by themselves. It's near impossible for them to do it by themselves. to be able to carry conversations by yourselves without really taking phone calls or, all of that. And I don't load interviews up. I could do that if I wanted to, but what am I going to do, bro? I'm the monotony of it. And that's one thing I've learned the first couple of years. It's too many interviews and, too many Dolphin interviews when there's nothing new to say. And what am I going to talk about with the Heat now? I had Ira on earlier in the week and I had Wes yesterday, which was fantastic. Two great conversations. What more is there? Am I going to have a Heat conversation every day? Am I just going to bring on somebody to talk Dolphins schedule today? Oh, dude, I can do that. I don't need anybody else. So it's just like it's forcing the issue to force the issue. But there's topics. Do they talk about the Kelsey, Tom Brady thing? Do you hear that in other shows? What I just told you with Cam Newton, did you hear that on other shows? You're not going to hear stuff like that. They're not going to talk about stuff like that. Here's where you're not going to hear. You'll hear a lot of rah, rah, rah and talk, and birthday boy. I love him, Omar Kelly. Hey, by the way, is Omar Kelly talking out there that Jarvis Landry didn't get picked up by the Jags? Just saying. Did he look into it? So you got a tryout. And remember, they didn't give you the whole story, right? But I gave you the whole story, right? That Jarvis Landry was not only trying out, but he was also trying to see if he still wants to do it himself. Meanwhile, you've got people, fans, some of you out there, because you texted it here and to my DMs and all that, some of you fools out there wanted Jarvis Landry. And then, of course, Omar was the lead fool out of all of them that's cheering on Jarvis, a guy that really doesn't even know if he wants to play. By the way, the Jags, they didn't sign him. It was a tryout. They've got Christian Kirk, who had 787 yards, 13.8 yards per catch, and 3 touchdowns in the slot, 85 catches. They drafted Parker Washington the year before in the 6th round. He had 132 yards on 16 catches, 8.3 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're trying to find out if they have somebody behind Christian Kirk, because maybe Christian Kirk moves on after this season. I kind of actually do my homework and really find out about what's going on. So it was a mere tryout, and they didn't bring him back. They thought they like what they saw, and they'll keep him in mind. I mean, since they're going to tell you about it and they're going to throw it out there, right? But they're not going to follow up on it. So I just want to make sure, on this show, we won't mislead you about telling you getting Jarvis Landry in the first place. And then we'll also tell you how it's a ridiculous suggestion. And then we'll tell you the real facts, like he's even trying to figure out if he wants to play himself. Did anybody tell you that? No, we told you that. And then now we'll follow up and tell you he didn't get the job. And they don't need him. But we need him here, right? Yeah, of course. We do real sports talk here. Real sports talk here. Okay? Just so you'll know. More than everybody else. That I can say with all confidence in the world. I'll joke around. We'll have some fun. I'll take my shots. I'll talk about all kinds of other things. But when it comes to sports talk, we will give you real sports talk and not bullshit stuff that we're playing shtick or we're joking around, or we're just we're just playing games by talking sports. We don't do that here. And I don't play the fan game, and I don't play the hey, let's play the hate game, and let's just go on negativity just so we can stir it up. None of that crap goes on here. Okay? You can go to plenty of other places, plenty of platforms, do all of that kind of stuff. We'll bring you to reality, and we'll tell you exactly what's going on. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, William Quigley. and the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. They know how to get it done. Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, folks. And when we talk about, full landscaping, doesn't matter what it is you need for your home, your HOA complex, your business. It increases the value of your home, the value of your business. If you currently have some landscaping, but it's hard to keep up, and I understand that, man. I don't have a green thumb myself. Hire the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. They can maintain it for you, keep it up, maybe even take it to another level. And hurricane season right here. It's in a couple of weeks, officially it starts. And it goes till November. And if you've got trees all over wires or on your roof and all that, I don't want you getting up on ladders and on roofs trying to do all that stuff that's dangerous. Hire the people at Cutter's Edge Pro. They are fully insured. Okay? Fully insured. So if anybody gets hurt on your property, they will not sue you. So make sure, even if you don't hire Cutter's Edge Pro and you hire somebody else, they have to prove to you they're fully insured. Or if not, do not allow them to work on your property. So call them. Synthetic turf, great for my dogs. They'll be phenomenal for yours. Tree trimming, landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation. They do it all. 954-472-0622 or go to cuttersedgepro.com. Has been preaching, great schedule release. Predicting anything now is pointless. Let's see how the season turns out. I'm with on this. Yep. Listen, we'll have some fun along the way, and we'll be able to look at it as it's going on. Jarvis Landry will soon be trying out for the Ravens. Mortgage commercials. Same thing with Chris Berman. He was so good back in the day and ended up with the gravelly voice. Yeah, and he can't say more than 3 words without breathing in. Yeah. The Dolphins will have 3 games against teams with less than 5 wins last season. Cardinals, Patriots 2, no games versus KC or Ravens this season. The Dolphins schedule is easy this year. Yeah, I know, man, because they've beaten the Ravens 2 out of 3 years. I wish we had the Ravens on the schedule. I'm with you, Finch Rule. We needed an easier schedule, bro. We needed the Ravens on the schedule because Tua's won 2 out of 3 against them the last 3 years. I know. I would love to have the Ravens on the schedule. I've watched Tua beat them 2 out of 3 years. So I'm with you. It would have been an easier schedule if you would have added the Ravens. I love turning that on these idiots. They only remember the Ravens game last year, and they don't remember the Ravens games the 2 years before that. Every freaking moron does that. Every single one. Well, he lost to the Ravens. Yeah, he beat them the last 2 years before that. Even with Flo, he beat them. Off the bench with a deficit. But, whatever. Remember only this year's. Not. Got to fix the camera now. Anyway, I just have an issue with commentators. The mic picks up your voice. Do not need to speak on the microphone. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Eric Dickerson reporting at the Atlanta Olympics. I'm here at the swimming pool and want to report the water is very, very wet. Back to you, Bob. That is awesome. That is awesome. So OBJ addressed the media yesterday. We talked about some of his comments yesterday. And one of the things that a couple things stood out to me yesterday, because I did get to watch the entire press conference after the show when I got home. And one was he was kind of nervous about a left-handed thrower with Tua. Because there's that thing, right, with left-handers or right-handers and all that kind of stuff. And so he's been practicing forever with Jarvis Landry. And Jarvis is a lefty. And then he mentioned somebody else that he practices with that throws to him lefty. And he realized I've been practicing with lefties a lot as it is. And then he was told about how Tua throws the ball and this and that and all that kind of stuff. And so Jarvis kind of plays a big role in all of this in many ways. One, Jarvis is left-handed, so he was like, oh, remember, Odell's the guy that thought the world was flat. So, he forgets things. Like, maybe it's not flat. Maybe it is round because all the pictures kind of show it to us. And astronauts, when they're out in space and they're taking pictures, kind of looks round. So maybe it's round. And so now he kind of remembers, left-handed people throw to me all the time. Because Jarvis has been throwing to him since he was in high school. Back to that point. So I did not know this until David Furones asked this, that OBJ almost was a University of Miami recruit. He came down to Coral Gables and everything, but he was so friends with Jarvis, he was going to do anything that Jarvis wanted to do. So Jarvis went to LSU and convinced him to go to LSU. So that's why he went to LSU, because Jarvis went to LSU. And so the whole Miami thing, so Jarvis helps him understand, hey, moron, you are catching balls from left-handers. That's one thing. But Jarvis also kept him away from the University of Miami, and he went to LSU. So that was kind of interesting. And he already has a home here, but I think he stays down here, but now he's got to get like a real permanent home now. Apparently he spends time here, loves his place here. So that kind of helps him too. And the one thing that I also like is he said, I just want to win. And, we talk about when you're like, here's something personal for myself. Okay. I'm at a point in life now, and I'm really fortunate, and thanks to you guys, by the way. Okay. Because, if you don't visit our sponsors, if you don't watch, if you don't donate, if you don't buy a shirt or a hat or whatever, we're not going to survive. Right. But the beauty is what you allow us to do here in 4 years now is that we get to do things our way. And I no longer answer to any corporate assholes, which not that I did normally when I worked for them. I normally did not do any of the bullshit they wanted me to do. I was constantly fighting with them. Okay. I'm surprised I lasted 30 years, to be quite honest. I think I lasted 30 years because I know how to do this, and I'm pretty good at, the business side of it. I'm actually good at getting information, something that most people can't do. I've got a lot of great relationships in the NFL, which is something most people can't do. So that's probably why they kept me around, because I could actually do the job. But I didn't like the system. The system was a bad system. And so now I get to live my life, and I get to do what I want to do. And I don't have to try to cater to whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you're a little bit more at peace. And that's where I'm at now. I'm at peace, because I have very few pressures outside of just making money, obviously, to survive, to feed my family. So that's the only pressures I have now. But I don't have all the other external pressures. And I work with a beautiful human being in Sean Stanley. And before that, my best friend in the world in Bill Preston, who I miss every single day. And so, it's just, I see Odell, and throughout that entire press conference, and the one thing, as a guy that has never been a real fan of his personally, because I don't like how he's even carried himself professionally, I have to admit that he has carried himself in a professional manner the last couple of years, unlike his prior years. And he hasn't been an issue for anybody. And he hasn't been demanding the ball or any of that kind of stuff. And so he comes here with the same freaking great attitude that he's here to compliment. He's here to excel if he can. He's here to win if he can, because that's what he says. I just want to win. And then he's, he goes, if you look at my career the last couple of years, I haven't been a number one. So it's not something like I'm coming in here with this ego that I've got to be a number one. I've got to go prove and this and that. None of that is part of this equation. And remember what I told you when I initially brought up Odell Beckham, okay? And then finally the news broke out. Barry then picked up on whatever I had, and he went and reported it. And so then I was telling you guys, hey, why do you think I'm talking about Odell Beckham when I'm not the guy that would be talking about Odell Beckham? Because of the scenario that was drawn up, that he's not coming here to be the guy. We're not counting on him to be a 1 or 2. We're not paying him big money, as I've told you over and over again, and they clearly didn't pay him big money. You know what I mean? So all of this, the football side of it, the professional side of it was all taken as it's perfect. Now you got to know if the individual if the individual is finely tuned to it. And my Lord, he is. He knows exactly who he is nowadays. He's comfortable with who he is nowadays. And he understands the role that he's in. Now, I will tell you something about that press conference that I still don't go for. And, he talked about, I haven't played in the slot, and he kind of kept it kind of in the gray area. I still don't think he's playing the slot at all. Maybe 2% of his routes this year might be in the slot just because they want to do something because the mad scientist is doing something. I don't know what it is he's up to. Maybe he puts 2 people in the slot, and Odell's one of them, and has Waddle and Tyreek on the outside, and he puts the Malik kid, one of the Washington boys, on the opposite side. Takes Jonnu off the field. I don't know. Some crazy shit. He has Odell in motion coming out of the slot or something. I don't know. Whatever, dude. Something like that I can see. But in that conversation, he ain't playing the slot, dude. I just don't believe that part. I really don't. I think 98% of the time, he'll be what he's always been, is an outside receiver. I just think I think he's a chess piece that they will move around, is what they'll do. That's what I think is going to end up happening. So those are my thoughts on OBJ in different ways there that I saw yesterday. Where are we at with Bitcoin? We're over 65,000 again. 65,253. All right. Not bad. At least it's kind of holding up, which is good, because you didn't want to pump to then it go back down to 61, 62. You wanted to kind of hold, and let me tell you something about, because you've got the Peter Schiffs of the world and the idiots out there that tell you about gold and don't want to believe in Bitcoin. And I'll tell you something about that, something that's developed with Bitcoin that some of you may not know. And this is something that you can kind of take to the bank. Okay. And I tweeted this out for you all. If you follow me on Twitter, then you probably saw this one. But just to kind of give you a feel, 937 financial institutions bought Bitcoin through ETFs during Q1 of this year. That's 10 times more institutional adoption than gold. Now, I want to remind you about this. There are 21 million Bitcoin that will be mined. After that, there will be no more Bitcoin, and it's over. That's it. There's a finite supply, and it's over. The gold supply increases every year 2 to 3%. Countries add fiat currency every year and devalue their currency. Sometimes higher than 2 or 3%, by the way, but I'm just saying. So, it's a reason why gold doesn't move like Bitcoin moves. My God, Bitcoin moved 5,000 yesterday. That's more than gold has ever even cost. It'll move a couple hundred in 15 years. I mean, it's just, I say it just so you don't keep following people that have ulterior motives and they're not good and they're not there to help you out. They're there to hurt you. Speaking of hurting you, is the media misleading you? Some of them. Are they going for the low-hanging fruit like they do in football with Tua contract talk or whatever? Because let me ask you something. What's been going on every year? Because now the latest is, Donovan Mitchell got eliminated yesterday, right? So now look out for Donovan Mitchell and the Miami Heat. And is that going on with Durant and everything else all the way up to Damian Lillard and and by the way, Donovan Mitchell before that and all the other names that have been mentioned for the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years that never come here, by the way. None of them ever come here. And lately, they can't come here because Miami has no capital to trade. And when you tell me you have 1 or 2 first rounders to trade, that's not going to get you anything because they're constantly trading 4, 5, and 6 first rounders. So until you have that, you're not trading for a star. And I just think that we keep playing this silly game where you think it's the first 20 years where you were able to lure in the stars, but the only reason you've gotten stars lately has been only because of Dwayne Wade, not because of Pat Riley or his lack of trade value. He has no ammunition. None. And even the young kids aren't going to be enough. So why do we keep playing this silly-ass game? And by the way, I have no interest in trading for a 35-year-old Kevin Durant. That's some stupid shit at that point, too. Not that I think Phoenix is dead set on keeping what they have. They're going to try to add, some kind of complementary pieces because that's what that maniac owner is going to do. But in the end, I don't think Durant's the answer either. A broken down 35-year-old player who does get injured, and what is he going to do? Carry another 35-year-old player that doesn't want to play during the regular season? And now you're also going to give me this bullshit talk all off season about another whale coming here that is not going to come here because, let's be honest, you have no trade capital. You haven't had trade capital for years. You don't have the trade capital that teams want. So let's stop it already with this. So stop telling me about Donovan Mitchell or anything else like that. You're not getting anything. In fact, it's time to do the right thing. Take the step back. Try to unload, if you can, Jimmy Butler. I know you're not going to be able to unload Hero because he's not worth anything right now. But focus on Hero and try to build up his value. So maybe next year you can sucker somebody to take him. It's time for the Heat to stop being delusional and start being more realistic. And it's also time for us, the Heat fan base, to stop being delusional and start being more realistic. Delusional is you think you have the trade capital when you don't. Realistic is saying, let's reset. Realistic is let's try to unload Jimmy Butler for future draft capital so we can have that leverage when the next time rolls around. We need to start getting realistic. And we're not realistic in the Heat world anymore. We think that what happened the last 5 years was real, and it was not. You got your break in the bubble. It was a scenario. It was a weird situation with the pandemic and everybody locked up and the Heat had the kind of culture that was better suited for that than everybody else. And unlucky for them, the injuries, because they literally could have won that one. It would have been a nice fluky championship. That they weren't talented, talent-wise, they weren't the best, but the ducks fell in place. The stars aligned. And then last year you had the Giannis break. Meanwhile, your star has purposely missed the last 2 regular seasons. And somehow or another, delusional steps in. No, we'll be fine in the postseason because that's the norm. To go to the play-in and work your way up to the finals. Everybody does that all the time. Delusional. It was a great run. It was flukish. The big 3, nothing flukish about that. That was real. Hardaway morning era, that was real. They couldn't get over the hump because there was a guy named Michael Jordan in the way. What are you going to do? Ask the Knicks, the Pacers, the Cavs, the Jazz. All those teams had the same problem in those times. All those teams could have won a championship. I'm not saying they would have, but I'm telling you, the Knicks, the Cavs, the Heat, the Pacers, and the Jazz. If there was no Bulls, 1 or 2 of them easily would have won a title. Guaranteed. We all know that lived that era. Those are real. What happened the last 4 years, because this year doesn't count, it was fun. It was an awesome experience. It wasn't real. It was flukish, and we credit the best coach on the freaking planet for making something better than what it really was. But that's not reality, and we can't keep giving him chicken shit and say, Spo, go make chicken salad because you know how to make chicken salad out of Whiteside and the Johnson boys. Holy shit. So I don't know, but I am calling some of you Heat media people evil because you're building up a fan base only to watch them get disappointed, thoroughly disappointed once again, because Pat Riley, unfortunately, does not have the ammo, and they are not realistically getting another star. And one more thing, since I'm the only one that's willing to say it in town, because I haven't seen anybody write it or talk about it, no star is willing to come here to carry Jimmy Butler during the regular season. And since they already had the conversation with he and his agent the year before, and they talked to him about playing more games, and the promise was there, and they broke that promise, we all now know that, you know why the promise was broken? Because Jimmy Butler can no longer play like he used to anymore, because he's no longer a star. A star carries you in the regular season and in the postseason. And he can no longer do both. In fact, this year, he couldn't do either. So, Heat Nation, let's stop with the delusional approach. Heat team, stop being delusional. Let's get realistic, and let's take a couple of steps back, i.e. 2008, so you can take a couple of steps forward, i.e. 2010. We thank the great people here at Hialeah Park, Steve Calabro, the Brunetti family, as always. Thanks to everybody out here making it nice and easy for us to broadcast out here. Thanks to Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, that always makes it nice and easy for us. Thank all of you out there, those of you that send in a super chat. Remember, you can always make a donation anytime, anywhere, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can also make a Bitcoin donation. And remember, we have our merchandise shop. You can support our show by buying a hat or a shirt, all of that kind of stuff. You can go to bigoradioshow.myshopify.com. If you're watching, you can use that QR code or BigORadioShow.myshopify.com. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.